Wonderful. Greetings and welcome to Spark Reproductive Justice Now's first ever national conference, Justice Now 2020. My name is Dr. Crystal Redmond, she, they. I am the Executive Director of Spark Reproductive Justice Now. Here's a little about us, as it is important to know who is holding and creating this space before you commit to being in this intimate setting with us. So we're founded in 2007. Spark, as you'll typically hear us, is a reproductive justice grassroots Southern organization that works to build and strengthen the power of our communities and a reproductive justice movement that centers Black women, femmes, and queer and trans young people of color. Based in Atlanta, Georgia, we have fostered a dynamic collaborative model of advocacy, grassroots organizing rather, leadership development, collective action, and a discourse that creates change and impact for our struggles for reproductive justice. Spark's biggest strength as an organization has been our ability to bring a queer liberation and voice to the reproductive justice movement. Our mission is to build new leadership, change culture, and advance Our mission is to build new leadership, change culture, and advance knowledge in Georgia and the South to ensure individuals and communities have resources and power to make sustainable and liberatory decisions about our bodies, gender, sexualities, and lives. We envision a world where economic, social, and cultural equity, transformative justice, and bodily autonomy, and comprehensive reproductive and sexual freedom exists, where Black and brown folks are centered, valued, and able to make liberatory decisions about their communities, families, and lives. We believe that Black women and femmes and young queer, trans, and people who exist outside of the binary can and should provide leadership in identifying and confronting the gender and body oppressions they are so often subjected to, and that our programs create opportunities for people and communities to recognize their individual and collective power, develop and apply a critical lens to reproductive justice efforts, and transform a society to a culture in which our bodies, genders, and sexualities are celebrated, respected, and protected. We continue to face unprecedented global pandemics that are devastating our communities, as well as the continuing murdering and uninhibited abuse of Black women, femmes, trans folks, men, and children. At the same time, as a result of the increased magnification of anti-Black racism, we have also witnessed an extraordinary activism led by Black organizers in support of Black liberation and freedom. This is a work that has always been led by Black Indigenous people of color, Black women and femmes, and queer and trans people, especially young people of color. Spark's role in our fight for liberation has been to continue to center queer and trans liberation in the movement and hold space for our communities that are constantly erased. Spark centers that there is no Black liberation without queer and trans liberation, and there is no reproductive justice without Black, queer, and trans liberation. This is why Justice Now was created. In 2016, there was a drastic shift in leadership of the federal administration, and Spark knew that we wanted to begin to plan and create an intentional space for our folks to gather and begin strategizing on how we continue to build in collective power and shift power. So for nearly 4 years, we have been planning and preparing for this space. Listen, we know that we will not achieve freedom and liberation through any system of oppression. So while we're taking steps to abolish the systems rooted in white supremacy, we also focus on assuring the elevation of our people in paid political positions, and at the same time continuing to put our focus on grassroots movement strategies, with highlighting the organizers and leaders who have been doing this work towards our freedom. Now, more than ever, it is imperative that all social justice, liberation, and health movements come together to create joint action and strategize on how to cohesively support each other as we create a comprehensive liberatory framework. The overall objective of Justice Now 2020 is to uplift leadership on all levels, with an emphasis on grassroots leadership, young leadership, and shifting power and taking charge of the conversations that centers our bodies, our communities, and our futures. In 2021, a federal administration will rise to federal power, and Justice Now 2020 is taking place as we lead up to that shift. This space will provide folks with a collective opportunity to prepare our minds, our emotions, and our thoughts and strategies as we look towards the change in the 2021 political environment. This conference is a much needed event to allow a cross-movement response to the administration. This is a shared interest in acknowledging and addressing the harms of this and past administrations and the roles of systemic oppression. There is power being built against us, Black, Brown, Indigenous, trans, queer, non-binary, disabled, and especially against those whose lives intersect multiple of these identities. It is time that we collectively build power against the oppression and for us and our communities. This will allow for interventions in exploring the opportunities for a joint statement and or a strategic plan or just graphic road mapping of our voices as a space to mobilize. Justice Now 2020 is a mobilization and cultivation space with intentions of bringing together cross-movement allies, leaders, organizers, and more in an effort to discuss specifically what are we able to accomplish in this collectively that we cannot do alone. This virtual conference will center Black and queer liberation, movement building, radical organizing, power building and shifting. Justice Now 2020 was built to designedly create a setting for folks to unite for the advancement of reproductive justice. And it is essential that we recognize the intersections of Black and queer liberation and reproductive justice. Through our work, we will continue uplifting this fight by recognizing those who have been doing this work and providing a space for this recognition to be honored and built upon. We will offer opportunities to strategize work that needs to be done moving forward, and will continue to create spaces for ongoing strategy and opportunity and community. Our conference begins with 3 pre-conferences that you may have already attended: Radical Youth Organizing, Queering RJ, and the Art of RJ Lawyering. This will be followed by 2 days of amazing keynotes, panelists, hosts, workshops, fun, especially just centering our communities. We want you to leave this unique space feeling inspired, reflective, rejuvenated, and held by community, charged and ready to take action. And throughout your time with us and beyond, to meditate on what does liberation mean to you. We hope you enjoy this space, that you honor those who have given their time, labor, and efforts to make this space intentional, and that you are able to leave with solid next steps on how we will continue to build power. Thank you to our attendees, our sponsors, our volunteers, our panelists, our hosts, our speakers, our performers, and artists. There was a lot of hard work, time, and creativity that was put into creating this space. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize our small but mighty Spark team. We have Agbo Ikor, our Director of Programs, Carter, our Operations Coordinator, Kay Good, our Trans Leadership Coordinator, Erin Gloucester, our Development and Communication Coordinator, and Alex Moody, our If One How Fellow, and as well as Blue and Green Consulting, our Steering Committee, and our Spark Board of Directors. Thank you for your time and energy and that you put into making Justice Now magical. Peace, love, rest, and please enjoy. Now I have the amazing opportunity and pleasure of introducing our host for the weekend. Listen, when we were asked who should be our host for this weekend, there was only one name we thought of and one name we sent the invite to. So we're super stoked that this person was just like so down and holding down this space. So I would like to introduce Monica Ray Simpson, she, her, who is the Executive Director of Sister Song, a woman of color reproductive justice collective. A native of rural North Carolina, Monica organizes against human rights violations, the prison industrial complex, and structural racism through a feminist and interdisciplinary approach to Black liberation from a southern to a global scale. A true Renaissance leader, she is also committed to birth justice as a certified doula and centers the reproductive rights of Black women as part of her practice. Monica's masterful integration of artivism and activism and artistry, also known as artivism, created a path for the release of her first live album entitled Revolutionary Love, an album praised for its blending of her gospel roots and her passion for social justice. This innovative sound is what she calls revolutionary soul. As a performer who works to empower marginalized people and tear down broken systems, Monica was named as a new civil rights leader by Essence magazine, yes, and chosen as one of the Advocate magazine's 40 under 40 leaders. Please welcome Monica Ray Simpson.
Peace, everybody. It is the conference. We are here, Justice Now 2020. I know that we're in a virtual space, but we can feel the ethers with all of our energy and just bring it together. Can we please give mad love to the executive director of Spark Reproductive Justice? Y'all, put your hands in the air, type it in the chat, put out some sounds into the air. It takes a lot for this leader, this entire team at Spark, to make this thing happen virtually, y'all. This is amazing. It is an honor that I get to be with you all. It is an honor that we all get a chance to be with each other, even in this virtual space, because there is no time like the present for us to build on our collective power as people, y'all. So we are bringing you greetings from Blue, Georgia. Hello. Can we say blue? Can we say blue? Good folks. I know you all were watching the news just like we were watching the news. We've been in this, and let me just remind you all, for us to get to this place in Georgia, it has taken years of powerful organizing across all sectors to get us to this place. It took electoral organizing. It took the reproductive justice folks. It took the folks working for abortion access. It took the folks working for racial justice, queer and trans liberation. It took everybody being on the front lines of this work to make this happen. That is the power of organizing, good people. That is what has changed the role of of everything in this country, is organizing. And that's what this conference is all about. Justice now, right now, good folks. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a powerful day for you and a powerful weekend of so much amazing stuff that's coming down the pipe. I'm here to move you through the process. I'm here to also help remind you of what's coming along and hopefully give you some good little vibes in the meantime as we do that. But tonight we're going to have an amazing land recognition as well as our first keynote speaker. But just to go back to something that Crystal said earlier, most of you started the day with these pre-conference institutes. Just want to give a mad shout out to the organizing that went into those pre-conference institutes, from Spark's own work around queering RJ. Y'all, their curriculum, if you haven't ever been to a queering RJ training conducted by Spark, you are missing out. If you want them to come to your organization, if you need them to come to your work, that's what they're here for. They have created a powerful curriculum that helps us really understand what this work looks like at the intersections of reproductive justice and queering RJ. So make sure you hit them up. And make sure you make sure that you bring them into your work. We also got to give mad love to the second pre-conference institute that was going on, brought to us by If When How. Mad love to If When How, lawyering for reproductive justice. Y'all, they are creating those legal badasses that are going to be moving our work in the world. And so they are incredibly important to this movement. Their work is incredibly important, and they led a powerful pre-conference today on movement policy and lawyering. So y'all, make sure you be on the lookout for them and all the things that they do. Their fellows are placed all throughout the movement. They doing bad things. We love y'all. We appreciate you. And then lastly, Urge. Come on, Urge, with radical youth organizing in the South. We love Urge. Urge be out there in these streets too, working with these young folks, making sure that they're equipped on these college campuses, that they're equipped in their communities, ready to move this work in powerful ways. So again, mad love to Urge, If When How, and Spark, of course, for leading powerful pre-conferences today. Y'all, we got keynotes coming up all weekend. I mean, dope people. We even got a Sunday sermon. Do you hear what Spark has done? We're going to give you a Sunday sermon. We're going to like put our hands up in the name of the Lord. That's Lorde. You know what I'm saying? Y'all feel me out there. So we're going to make sure that that goes down We also have really, really, really powerful panels that's going to be going down. I don't know if y'all have gone to the Spark RJ website, if you've gone to their Instagram. If you haven't, you should, so you can see what's coming up. But there are powerful panels this weekend. The first one on radical organizing and the intersections of our lives. There's some dope people on this panel. Some of my homies are on the panel. So y'all make sure you check out for that one. The second one, as the queer, Black, and trans South goes, so does the nation. Come on, heavy hitters all weekend coming for that one. And then lastly, Black Liberation to Freedom. Now that's happening on Sunday. I'm gonna give a little plug. I'm gonna be on that one. I'm just saying it's gonna be great. But all of them are going to be amazing. So we have amazing panels. And then we got nightly activities. So not only are you gonna get dope curriculum, not only are you gonna get dope workshops and just brilliance just poured into your spirit this weekend, you're gonna have an opportunity to like get jiggy with it. That might age me. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. All right? But I'm just saying, you're going to have an opportunity to get down with it. You're going to have an opportunity to do some really fun things this weekend. So we have given you a well-rounded experience, good folks. Another thing I want to highlight for you all this evening, we have DJ sets that are going on today in honor of Transgender Day of Remembrance. We are doing some really dope things around that. Y'all, I'm telling you, there's not one moment that you're not going to get dopeness this weekend, okay? We also have Black Sanctuary, and this is a Black autonomous space. To let you all know a little bit more about what that means, it is a space for Black attendees at Justice Now 2020, unapologetically, right? And this space was created to commemorate the struggle and state of ongoing crisis that Black folks continue to live through at the hands of a systematic racist system and all the oppressive structures that are coming into play in our lives. This space is designed to offer respite to the mind, the body, the spirits, and the fight to endure and to ultimately create ways for Black liberation. Black Sanctuary invites Black Justice Now attendees to enter this space to enjoy the pre-recorded sessions that will center Black folks, verifying and across varying activities and joy. So we got yoga, dance, sound bowl meditation, hula hooping, all kinds of dope stuff. Get up in there, Black people. Go get your respite. Go get your centering. Go get yourself together over in Black Sanctuary. So again, we want to thank all the sponsors that make this possible. We cannot have these types of spaces without folks giving the money and the resources to make them happen. So we're going to be talking about those sponsors all throughout the weekend, but mad love to all of those sponsors. And let me just tell y'all how we couldn't be here without you. Each and every one of you made a decision to click yes on that registration link. You made the decision to bring yourself to this space. And let me tell you, nothing happens by happenstance. That's not how I live. I believe that we are called to the experiences, to the places that we need to be at the right time. So you are at the right place at the right time. And there is something here for you because you are here. And you are help making this possible for Spark. You're help making this possible for this movement. And this moment is our moment. It is our moment. It's a necessary moment, and we're going to do it together, good people. So welcome, 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 welcome to Justice Now 2020. We getting ready to get things popping. And to get things popping, I want to introduce one of our first amazing, brilliant souls who's going to help ground us and bring us even more to our center as we get started for this weekend. So I want to introduce to some and present to others because I know that their work is moving all across movements. Bronte Velez, they, them, work and rest is guided by the call that Black wellness is the antithesis to state violence. That's from Mark Anthony Johnson as well. As a Black, Latinx, transdisciplinary artist, designer, trickster, and wake woker, their eco-social art practice lives at the intersections of Black feminist placemaking and prophetic community traditions, environmental justice, and death doulaship. They embody this commitment of attending to Black health and imagination, commemorative justice, and hospicing systems of oppression through serving as the creative director for Lead to Life, educator for ancestral arts, skills and nature connection school at Weaving Earth, and quotition That's a new word for me. And I have gone over this. You know how you read stuff over and over and you think you're going to get it right that time and then you never do? That's just how it happens. But I'm telling you, we know that this person is absolutely fantastic. But this Black, queer, life-making, ever committed to humor and liberation, ever marked by grief at the distance made between us and all that is of life. So introduce this beautiful soul that is going to take us into our land recognition and move us into our ritual and grounding today. So I would love to invite Bronte into this space. Thank you so much for bringing your brilliance to Justice Now.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Monica and Dr. Crystal. I'm so grateful. I can't believe that Monica Simpson just introduced me. So I'm just kind of like, oh my God, I'm totally fanboying. So I just need a little moment to ground. So good thing we're opening with a grounding ritual. Greetings to all of our relations. Welcome. My name is Bronte Velez. I go by they, them pronouns, and I'm calling in today from unceded Coast Miwok territory in so-called Petaluma, California. And I have the privilege of guiding you all in a land and Black life acknowledgement and also a grounding practice to open the conference. I'm so grateful to all of the organizers of the Justice Now 2020 conference for inviting me and trusting me to open this space with you all. As Monica mentioned, I arrived here today through the practice of Led to Life. We are a Black and queer collective that explores the prophetic practice of alchemy as a medium to reimagine justice. We're asking, how can Black ecofeminist public ritual, grieving, clearing, melting weapons together in public and transforming them into ritual objects and tools to heal and repair ceremony and land, shift our relationship to matter, memory, place, time, and trauma. I was born and raised in Decatur, Georgia, Zone 6, Muskogee Territory, and Stone Mountain, also known as Thenethlokfi in Muskogee. I'm grateful for this virtual homecoming. I'm the descendant of kidnapped and enslaved Black folks brought to Turtle Island, Black Muskogee people, and the descendant of Mestizex ancestors from the island of Boriquen, what settlers call Puerto Rico. My lineage is Taino, indigenous people to Boriquen, and Spanish and Portuguese settlers. I come from a lineage of ministers, poets, artists, healers, farmers, cooks, the whole nine that have guided me here. And I name my relations as a way to acknowledge the many rivers that carry me here and to build trust in humbly opening this space. And I invite you at this moment for us to just all take a moment to trace the rivers that carry us here. And perhaps from wherever you are, you find yourself presencing and acknowledging your lineage, the land that you're calling in from, and the work and rest that has guided you here. Perhaps aloud for a moment or in silent contemplation, or maybe you start typing in the chat who you just want to invoke in this space. We're just going to take 30 seconds, about 30 seconds to do this. Thank you. Maybe during that time, you continue to find yourself populating the chat. I'm humbled to open this conference with you all through the wisdom of interrupting the attention economy through acknowledgement and ritual. The way that prayerful and ceremonial pace allows an accountability to the lineages that have supported us to arrive here allow for miracles to take place. So may miracles take place during our time together. While I offer the Land and Black Life acknowledgement, I encourage you to invite a posture or feeling that invokes reverence for you. That could be bowing your head and closing your eyes or keeping them open with a soft gaze. That could be having your hands up or out, getting ready for the Sunday sermon on Sunday with the LORDE. That could be having your hands on your chest or your palms in the gesture of prayer. Whatever feels comfortable for you as a way to be in the practice of gratitude and acknowledgement. And I also encourage drinking water during this time. Thank you, Creator, for the miracle of this life and of this moment. Thank you for those gathered here today. We welcome the miracle of their arrival and their yes. Thank you for their yearning for liberation, and thank you for bringing together hearts that seek justice. Thank you to the organizers of this space for hearing to and answering the call. And thank you for those who are not virtually with us, but among us. May those among us who have passed on, those still seeking justice from across realms, those benevolently bearing witness from the other side, may they also find rest through our gathering here today and onward. We gather here first in gratitude for the trees, the fire, the water, the earth, the mountains, the air. May we be in right relationship to these gifts. Thank you for the profound manifestations of your love and of your abundance. May we never take these gifts for granted, and may we give our presence and attention here and upward, here, up and outward as an offering. We offer our gratitude for the many rivers of wisdom that have carried us here, the lineages of ceremonialists, reproductive justice organizers, public health practitioners, healers, earth defenders, abolitionists, transcestors, and activists that have protected these rituals and passed them down to us, that remind us to accompany our action with prayer and meditation, the wisdom to give thanks, to remember, to acknowledge. We thank you for entrusting us with these practices. We will honor them with grace and intention today. Thank you, Creator, for bringing me to this space to humbly give this offering. May our time together serve the highest good. I ask for permission to carry our prayer forward in a good way while on the land of the Coast Miwok people. I give thanks for the original territory of the Muskogee and Cherokee people in Atlanta, where we're hosting this conference. I acknowledge the harm of colonialism, mass genocide, and displacement of Indigenous peoples in Turtle Island. I pray that our work here during this conference invokes healing and liberation backwards and forwards through time, that it accounts for and acknowledges the reproductive justice of Indigenous peoples, and that it serves the truth that land back, that reparations, that Indigenous land sovereignty inherently serves the prayer for reproductive justice. I ask that our prayers and acknowledgements be heard with strong intention and care for the ancestors and living descendants of the collective lands we gather in. I give thanks for the ability to gather across space and time through our technology. I give thanks for that miracle while also giving account and grief for the labor, violence, and harm that our technology requires. I give thanks for the stars, mountains, steel, silica sand, iron ore, gold, bauxite, coltan, copper, tungsten, and so many other minerals who steward this ability to connect. I give thanks for the many lands these materials were mined from and hold the often unjust impact that extraction and labor required. May our time gathered here today serve right relationship with the source of our technology. And Creator, I invoke Mark Anthony Johnson's prayer that Black wellness is the antithesis to state violence. And we know that Black wellness also means ecological wellness, Indigenous wellness, queer wellness, Crip wellness, that Black wellness means reproductive justice. I honor and acknowledge the kidnapped Black folks and ancestors enslaved in Georgia, Muskogee, and Cherokee territory who were forced to work the land that calls us together. I acknowledge the de-indigenization of Black people through the project of slavery and seek to repair that memory through this acknowledgement of Black life. I pray that our work here during this conference invokes healing and liberation backwards and forwards through time for the descendants of those ancestors. I honor the wake of enslavement that Black folks are in Turtle Island and globally in the diaspora. I honor our differences and our intimacy. I honor the contributions, labor, scholarship, activism, and love that Black life, Black women, Black femmes, Black mothers, Black trans women and folks, and Black queer folks have contributed to reproductive justice, and Black parents. I acknowledge the reproductive injustice inherent to enslavement and racial terror in the land. We invoke the call that reparations and land sovereignty for Black people inherently serves the prayer for reproductive justice. I pray that our work here serves the call towards Black and Indigenous solidarity and co-liberation. May it be so. Any way you want to just send that up and outward, that acknowledgement of wherever you are, maybe you're stomping your feet on the ground for a little second or just sending it out. Thank you. And finally, I'm gonna bring us into a little grounding meditation and embodiment exercise. I'm thinking of Chicana lesbian activist Cherie Moraga's admonition in this bridge called My Back, where she speaks to the need for political memory so that we're not always imagining ourselves the ever inventors of our revolution, that we're humbled by the valiant efforts of our foremothers. And so with humility and a firm foothold in history, we can enter upon an informed and re-envisioned strategy for social political change in decades ahead. And so to give gratitude for and put into practice Cherie's reminder of acknowledging that memory, I'm gonna first offer a libation to open this space. I acknowledge that libations are typically performed by elders and initiates. I acknowledge that I am a youth folk that has been given a blessing by my elders to hold ceremonial space, and that I've asked for permission to offer this libation today. Libations are a ritual offering of water or alcohol to acknowledge those who have come before us and to give our gratitude and acknowledgement forward and backward through time. Libations make room for our lineages to rest so that our work in the present moment can flow through that acknowledgement. And this feels so critical today on Transnational Day of Remembrance, that we might not only honor our ancestors who have passed on, who we have lost unjustly, but also to invoke healing for our living Black trans relatives through this acknowledgement today. And if you want, while I'm offering the libation again, you could just come into a soft gaze or close your eyes or just hold some water that you're gonna have after tea, whatever you're drinking. Creator, in my relations, I humbly seek to acknowledge the lineage of Black femme and transcestors who prophesied and doulaed reproductive justice into being. I offer libation for those ancestors, libations for the Black folks that we lost this year, libations for those we have lost to COVID, libations for our incarcerated relatives, libations for the water of the earth. May each of you find rest in peace and power. Ashe. And after this, I will offer this water, which I'm sure in our time will have become medicine to the land. So I invite you all to meditate on who dreamed you here. And again, in the chat or at this moment or some throughout the day or conference or the weekend, perhaps you offer some water out or some alcohol or some other kind of offering that names your specific lineage that dream you into this moment and into this work as a way to give thanks. And I'd love to get us into our breath for a moment and chanting so we can collectivize our voices and intentions here during the conference. we're gonna chant Sparks mantra, which I love so much. Our bodies, our communities, our future. And we're gonna tag on justice now. Our bodies, our communities, our futures, justice now. And I'm gonna invite you to first slowly chant that, but then you'll find yourself getting a little faster, more illegible, fugitive, inaudible, more of a whisper, closer to your own body, as a way to allow the mantra to enchant you. And just notice what it feels like to allow your life and your breath to bring embodiment to that intention. And if you close your eyes while you do this, I've noticed recently that you can find a kind of like second eyelid, if you can imagine it, like a second, there's another one that makes it a little darker. And I've noticed when you concentrate your attention towards that place, they might call the third eye in between the brow, something magical can happen there. So I'm just gonna invite us to focus into that place. And I'll lead us as we chant. And I'm also gonna be burning a cedar bundle that I've gathered here in unceded Kashaya Pomo territory as a way to let the smoke carry up these prayers, okay? So it's just our bodies, our communities, our futures, justice now. Monica and Dr. Crystal, if you feel comfortable to unmute yourselves, you're welcome to, so that we can kind of hear some more voices beyond mine. And get loud, let your housemates or your roommates, hear you even if they're not at the conference, okay? The neighbors, let the neighbors know your name, okay? All right. Our bodies, our communities, our futures, justice now. 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 One more time, we're just gonna get it loud. Our bodies, our communities, our futures, justice now. Right now, God, come on, amen. Yes. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for allowing me to hold this space. I'll invite you into a prompt over the weekend, a small prophecy or a prayer or a spell, brief as a sentence. It can be, or you could write something a little longer. But the prompt is just, if reproductive justice is now, what does that now feel like? And the invitation is to write it as if it is in the present moment. And I invite you to share this small prophecy back to others in your affinity spaces, in your homes, or hold it throughout the weekend. Place it on your altar or some place of significance wherever you are. Thank you for allowing me to hold this space. I pray the work that happens here this weekend be protected, that all of the visions here be made manifest, that all of your relationships stay healthy, that this network becomes more fortified, that each of you receive deep rest, imagination, belonging, and inspiration from gathering together. As we approach that window of time, folks might call the Sabbath or Shabbat tonight, I pray that the lineage of stealing away into the rest of an additional soul carries you throughout the weekend, that you might feel what it's like when your work is done. And I'll close by dedicating the merits of our opening. I received this practice from Mia Cota Taylor from a body of work called Fierce Allies. This is to send the blessing of this time outward beyond those not gathered here. So I'll say the dedication first, and then you can repeat it after me. The dedication is, may any positivity generated be given away to all of life for the sake of freedom. And so I'm going to say that again, and you can repeat it after me. May any positivity generated be given away to all of life for the sake of freedom. Ashe, thank you so much. So grateful. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you so much. My people, I know y'all felt that. I know you felt that deep in your soul. I know that that just reverberated all through your being. The vibrations are just going all up and down and around us. Thank you, Bronte, so much for your gift, for your connection, for what you have conjured for this space of Justice Now. Oh, good people. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Oh, free the land, free the people, free them all by any means necessary. I don't know. I'm ready to go. I don't know about y'all, but I am ready to go. I am on fire. Ah, what a powerful way to be in community with each other, y'all, on this Friday evening. Well, we got a little bit more for you. Like it just keeps getting better. We have a keynote that's going to be starting at about 4 o'clock. And so before we get ready for that keynote, I just want to give you all a little bit of housekeeping because, you know, we are in a conference space. So I got to make sure you know all the things and that you're ready to go with all the things. So first of all, in housekeeping, how to reach us if you have tech issues over at Justice Now. In the event that you are having challenges getting into Zoom, please contact Shannon, our counsel, who is the Justice Now Tech Coordinator, via the email councils, that's COUNCILS, Shannon, SHANNON, @gmail.com. And we're going to make sure that that's in the chat for you. But again, that's council, COUNCILS, HANNON, @gmail.com. And you can chat them as well in the virtual volunteer room to make sure that you can have access to that. Make sure you have the WOVA app, that WHOVA, I think is WOVA. I think that's how they say it. But make sure you have that app because that's how you can get direct access to everyone. If you have general questions, you can find all that you need over at the virtual help desk. Again, we're going to be having a keynote speaker coming up in just a second, and we do have night activities this evening, so get ready for those. Now, I know y'all know that we over on all the social media things, right? So please make sure that you go over to IG, which is @SparkRJ Now. That's @SPARKRJNOW. Over on IG, you can follow us on Twitter at the same handle @SparkRJ Now, which is @SPARKRJNOW. And we want you all to use the hashtag this weekend, Justice Now 2020. That's JUSTICENOW 2020. Right? So please make sure you use that, and the word now is capitalized, y'all. So let's keep this hashtag consistent so we can get those analytics, so we can get that, what they call it, trending going on. Like we can make Justice Now 2020 trend this weekend, but it takes you all going over onto social media and pumping it out. However you're feeling, what you're hearing. We got to share it out with good people who may not know that this is going on or who may not have been able to make it. Let them be a part of the process because you are taking that over there to the social medias to make it happen. I have another thing that you can do that's real cute, right? I know you at home. Maybe you got cute for this. I know I tried to get cute for it. You know what I'm saying? I put a little lipstick on and stuff because I was ready for my people today. So however you showed up today, take a selfie. Put hashtag Justice Now 2020 on it and pump that bad boy out. There you go, Crystal. There you go. Yes. Everybody, take your phone. I'm going to do mine right now. Too. Hold on one second. Y'all can get your phones now too. Let's do this together. Let's do it, family. Let's pull these phones out, flip it around, get this. I got a couple. I'm excited. I'm going to post mine over on Twitter using hashtag Justice Now 2020. And I'm going to put it on the Instagrams because I love Instagram. I think it's my favorite platform, to be quite honest. So make sure you show your beautiful faces. It doesn't matter if you're curled up with your fur baby or your boo, or if you're on the couch, however you showing up. Let us see you. Let's build this community together. So make sure that we hit that up over there on the social media places, good guys. All right. Also, We can enhance our conference experience by taking advantage of all of the webinar and app functions, including the Q&A, chat features, community boards, and the sponsorship center. So if anything comes up, the virtual help desk will help you solve it, but make sure that we use all of the ways that we can stay connected to each other throughout this weekend. We got so many ways to stay connected. Let's use them all. So we talked a little earlier about the amazing organizations and folks who have made this possible. Yo, we got to give mad love to the sponsors, y'all. The sponsors, the sponsors, the sponsors. We're so grateful for you, advocates for you. National Black Women's Reproductive Justice Agenda, National Women's Law Center, Upstream, the Youth Engagement Fund, National Advocates for Pregnant Women, If, When, How, CLIP, which is also known as the Civil Liberties and Public Policy Program, and amazing work, Planned Parenthood, and URGE, which is United for Reproductive and Gender Equity, and Free the Pill. Can we just take a moment to put some love up on the screens, up in the chat, for all the folks who made it possible for Spark to do this thing called Justice Now 2020. That's for us. Y'all, they doing it for us. This is so dope and amazing. So, I want to turn it over now. We're going to have a little video montage for you all before we get ready to step into our keynote for the evening and get ready to send you all on your way to your nightly activities. We have a dope video montage coming up for you. So I'm going to turn it over to the team at Spark to make that happen. Hold 1 second for us. All right, guys?
Liberation means that I live a fully autonomous life of abundance that is sustained by myself and my community.
Liberation is the ability to feel and be truly free, to wake up every day and us just to do whatever it is that truly brings us happiness.
Liberation just looks like safety, it looks like happiness. It feels warm, free from fear. That's what liberation looks like to me.
Liberation looks like having access to all basic necessities, housing, that's education, that is employment, that is gender affirming care.
No one should have to fear whether or not they'll have their basic needs met or even their desires met.
Liberation looks like resources, folks having access to things they need to thrive and not only survive.
It's being able to leave my house without fear of hurt, harm, violence, or danger. It's the dismantling and abolishing of all systems of oppression, white supremacy, and any form of anti-Black racism for me.
Liberation to me means being able to live a life where all of the people that I know are able to be themselves and express who they are to the fullest extent.
Liberation is freedom. It's radical rest, leisure, and love. Liberation is joy. Liberation looks like a dance, it sounds like a sweet, sweet song, and it tastes like justice. We are liberation.
Wow, that was absolutely beautiful, good folks. Like, come on, Spark. Can y'all just give love to this amazing organization? Crystal, y'all are doing the thing. Okay, we know that y'all always doing the thing, but like, did y'all feel that? Did you feel the beauty in that, the cinematography and everything that went into that? What does liberation look like? That's the question that we're holding for this particular conference, y'all, and this particular time. What does liberation look like for us? What does it mean for us? And so we want you all to hold that in your heart space this weekend. Share that with each other as those thoughts come to mind. Share that on social media using that hashtag #JusticeNow2020. Let the world know what liberation looks like, what it means for us, and what we are all co-creating together this weekend at Justice Now. I want to give another mad shout out and all the love to Spark for creating this space for us as a movement, for bringing this forward at this particular time. It is so timely. I feel like it's divine timing, if I could use my words, for us. And it's going to be so good and healing, but also amazing and fun for us to just be in this experience with each other. So thank you all so much. We're going to get ready for our keynote speaker. I hope y'all are ready for the keynote speaker, because I'm telling you, tonight is going to be real fire. And if you have never, ever, 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 ever had the opportunity of being in a conference space where you get to hear like really dope speakers that are like so committed to their justice work, so committed to liberation, so committed to Black folks, then you are in for a treat. And if you have been in those spaces, which I know a number of us have, we just get to build off of that. So again, just want to give you all just a recap of all the things that you need to know and to be ready for tonight. Make sure that you all are hitting us up over on the social media channels at SparkRJ now, right? And all the different places that we need to make sure that we are putting all the information out there. Post your selfies. I want to see your selfies. You can @ me in your selfies because I want to see you. I want to see your faces. You can @ all of us and your homies. Let them know where you're at and what things are going down. Also, the virtual help desk is your space to get all of your questions answered, to get everything that you need throughout this weekend. I know that there's some dope little justice packets that all y'all done got. I'm excited about mine. I mean, we got gift cards to get us some food this weekend. We got all the swag. We got all the dope stuff, y'all. So I know I'm loving what Spark has done for us and how they are just pouring the love on us. We'll talk a little bit more about that after the keynote, but just bring it all together. Let's stay together. Let's get excited about what's going to go down this weekend at Spark. Right now, Justice Now 2020. All right, I'll see y'all over at the keynote in just a few minutes, but come on over and let's get started. Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome, because you have made it and you have arrived. All right, peace, y'all.